All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, call Haloim, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha HaKodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to you, sincere, hopeful, elect Akim, pushing the word of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, in spirit and in truth. La Ma'ah, Arabim, Arabai, Alap, which is to say 244,000. All right. So unto the 144,000, Shalom, which that is what we are striving to be a part of. Shalom also to Echad Shalayashim, which is 1/3. All right. Also what we are striving to be a part of. The Sha'ar which is the remnant. All right, that's how you say remnant in the Lashwan Kodash. Shalom to you. And Bachayar, which is the elect. All right. Being that we have put our hand to the plow, we have not looked back. We continue to push the word of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai in hopes of being delivered. All right. Now, in this lesson, I want to get into something that isn't too well known in the media, so to say, but Western media. But you got, as it says, plans for, and this is from NPR News, it says plans for a Trump family linked resort sparks protests in Albania. All right, so you got these Albanians, in an uproar because of what the Trump family is doing, with Jared Kushner, which is the son-in-law of Donald Trump, and Ivanka Trump, which is Trump's daughter, pretty much being the devil. All right, and that has the Albanians in an uproar. So I'm gonna read some of this article. I might read the whole thing, I'm not sure. But it says, from the picture here, it says, police officers block a street during a demonstration in Tirana, Albania, Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026, opposing a luxury coastal development project linked to Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump over concerns about environmental impacts and transparency. Tirana, Albania, It says a massive coastal development project linked to Jared Kushner, the son-in-law of U.S. President Donald Trump, is facing growing resistance from protesters in Albania. The government says the development on the Adriatic coast would be transformational for the former communist nation as it seeks to enter the high-end tourism market and push for European Union membership. All right, so they're looking to be a part of the EU and go from a former communist nation to being in the high-end tourism market. All right, it says, but the venture spanning an abandoned island and a nearby stretch of seafront on Albania's southern coast has drawn opposition from environmental campaigners and critics of longtime socialist Prime Minister Edi Rama. All right. So you got, members of, or should I say, what's the word I'm looking for? Countrymen or citizens of Albania that's not with that. All right, that are at odds with the Prime Minister of Albania, knowing that this dude is corrupt. All these individuals that's in these positions of power, presidents, prime ministers, congressmen, senators, elected officials, the world over, they're all corrupt. They're all corrupt. So it says Kushner and Ivanka Trump found the site on a barefoot hike, which is bullshit. All right, you really think Donald Trump's daughter is gonna go on a barefoot hike, you know, on some land that they claim to have discovered. Come on now. All right. So peep this. It says the luxury project has two components. So there's two components to what they want to build. It says a coastal development near Nara Lagoon area, near the Nara Lagoon area, which is a wildlife reserve. So here it is. This place has a name, right? The Nara Lagoon area. It's a wildlife reserve and it has a name. So how the fuck did you discover it? All right. And two, it says, and a smaller resort on a nearby uninhabited island of Sazan, a communist era military base. So here it is. This was a communist era military base, and that as well has a name. So how the hell did y'all discover these places? Oh, we just stumbled across it. What it say? Here. Let me see. Hold on. All right. Let me keep reading. It says the planned development of hotels, apartments, villas, and a marina is linked to Kushner and Trump's daughter Ivanka Trump. It says in an interview this week with U.S. podcaster David Sinra, Ivanka Trump said they discovered the site by accident. Get the fuck out of here. How you discover this? You didn't discover nothing. Okay? So, real quick, what they talking about. This is Albania right here. All right, you see Albania. And this is the Norda Lagoon. The North Lagoon. So they want to take over this all this coast right here. They want to take over all that coast. You know? You see where it says Norda Beach. And the locals is complaining that if these niggas take over, we ain't even gonna have access to our own beach. And then not only that, these demons claim that they were on a boat and they discovered this island. Which once again, this island was a Cold War military base. Or Soviet military base or something like that. What did it say? It was a nearby a communist era military base. Okay? So they didn't discover shit. All right, Esau the devil, he just goes about taking whatever the hell they want. All right, it says Ivanka Trump said they discovered the site by accident. We were on a friend's boat and we stopped for a swim. Effectively, that's how we found it, she said. We swam to the island. We went on a hike barefoot all the way to the top, and we were just captivated. Get the hell out of here. You ain't going no barefoot hike on the island. Who would do that? You discover some island, supposedly, and you ain't got no shoes on. Yeah, we're just going to go all the way to the top. Come on, man. It says an investment firm linked to Kushner has been granted special investor status by Albanian authorities. So you know him getting special investor status lets you know this shit is all orchestrated and set up. You know, these things was planned out. You know, a long time ago. It says harsh rule, pristine beaches. Albania has 450 kilometers or 280 miles of coast that remain largely undeveloped during decades of harsh communist rule. Protest groups fear the sections that the sections of that pristine coastline could be snapped up by powerful investors, and public anger grew after video showed an activist being dragged by a private security guard while demonstrating at the site. The development is planned within a nature reserve and one of Albania's most valuable biodiversity areas, a key stopover for migratory birds along the Adriatic coast. Protesters have carried cardboard cutouts of pink flamingos, one of the protected migratory bird species, at rallies in the capital, Tirana. Since late May, excavators and other heavy machinery have entered the area, opening access routes, digging into the sand, clearing land among pine trees, and installing fencing. Environmental groups from Albania and elsewhere in Europe condemned the work, with one prominent local group charging that long protected inhabitants are being irreversibly destroyed. Which Esau don't care about that, man. You know, he's a destroyer of the earth. It says a multi-billion-dollar bonanza. Albania's state anti-corruption agency has confirmed it opened an investigation related to the project, but has not disclosed details. The government says the land earmarked for the project is privately owned. All right, so the government is saying that land is privately owned, right? But competing claims have emerged questioning the privatization, a common type of legal dispute. Rama, which is the prime minister, has committed to the venture, saying it would align with Albania's ambition to become a major global tourism destination. Albania should not be a country that fears an extraordinary project like this one, where exceptional partners have come together to invest 4 billion euros, Rama said. He added, "There is no chance for this investment to stop as long as I am here." However, the demise of a similar project in Serbia offers a cautionary tale. In November, Serbia's parliament passed a special law to enable the building of a luxury complex in the capital, Belgrade, to be financed by an investment company linked to Kushner. All right, these damn demons. And Kushner's he's a small hat, a tiny top. All right. It says the following month, Serbia's prosecutor for organized crime charged 4 people, including a government minister, with abuse of office and falsifying documents to help pave the way for the development. So do you not think that's going on? Do you got to believe that that's going on with this situation here in Albania as well. All right. Kushner later withdrew from the planned multi-million investment that would have replaced a sprawling, bombed-out military complex, a designated heritage zone whose legal protection was lifted by the former officials now on trial. All right, so Esau is just, a damn demon. All right, a covetous man. All right, so let's grab this here in Sirach 14 and 9. It says, "The covetous man eye is not satisfied with his portion." And Esau's portion really is Petra. Okay, the land of Edom, modern day Petra, which is in Jordan today, which is a damn wilderness, a barren, desolate land. That's Esau's portion. Okay, yet he's everywhere but that place. All right. So a covetous man's eye is not satisfied with his portion, and the iniquity of the wicked drieth up his soul. And Esau from the womb was programmed to do iniquity. All right, of people that cannot get right, that can't do right to save their life. Okay, Sirach 10:9, it says, why is earth and ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man. All right, so somebody who's covetous will do anything to acquire what's not theirs, to the point that they'll murder, steal, kill, commit abomination. All right, for such an one setteth his own soul to sell, because while he liveth, he casteth away his bowels. And really, that's what Esau did with the deal he made with our forefather Jacob for that pottage, that you know uncooked pottage, right? He gave away his birthright. So in a sense, this dude sold his soul because he was impulsive and couldn't suffer a little bit longer for a meal, So he gave away his birthright. So this is the type of individual we're dealing with in the earth. All right. That same demonic nature that he has is what he present to everybody else. Oh yeah, sell your soul and do this degenerate, abominable acts, and we'll make you a millionaire. And like a lot of these streamers, man, these streamers do some retarded demonic shit on camera, and they're doing it simply to get money. And then look back, later and regret what they've done. Okay. So that's the nature of Esau. So that's what Esau presents you with, because that's how he gets down. Okay. So Habakkuk 2 in verse 5, I'm gonna read this in the NLT. It says, wealth is treacherous, and the arrogant are never at rest. All right. Look at Donald Trump. That's an arrogant demon. Never at rest. This dude be falling asleep in public gatherings. All right. Talking shit, belittling, foreign dignitaries that come to visit the White House. He'll just belittle them to their face, like he did the Prime Minister of Japan, to where she says she'll never come back to America. Okay. So that arrogant spirit that's within Donald Trump is, just the arrogance that all these Edomite Babylonians have. Okay, it's just embedded in their nature, in their spirit. It says they open their mouth as wide as the grave, and like death, they are never satisfied. Which is why, like, look at NATO, steadily pushing the envelope of war with Russia, to the point that right now they have the St. Petersburg summit going on, which is like the Davos summit, but just in regards to Russia. They have that going on, and you got Ukraine hitting, St. Petersburg with damn drones and shit, hitting buses and infrastructure, civilian infrastructure, and all that. So they're pushing the envelope of war purposefully. Okay, on purpose they're doing these things, and the reason why that is because they open their mouth as wide as a grave, and like death, they are never satisfied. So Esau keep antagonizing another nation, even though the result they know will be war as the outcome. This can take us to war, but we don't care. We're going to keep doing it because we want what they have. All right, that's the nature of a fucking Edomite. It says, in their greed, they have gathered up many nations and swallowed many peoples. All right, the fact that, you have all these NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, the European Union. You got all these alliances and whatnot. A lot of those alliances is a result of, a stronger nation uh, pretty much taking over, a inferior nation, making them get down with the program. Okay. In a lot of cases. Verse 6, it says, but soon their captives will taunt them. They will mock them, saying, what sorrow awaits you, thieves? Now you will get what you deserve. You become rich by extortion. But how much longer can this go on? All right, so all the extortion that, the West has done, America, you got, certain European nations, in the case of Albania, pretty much being extorted currently with, Kushner and Ivanka Trump trying to build that resort. All right. It gave also in the article, it gave the example of Serbia. All right. There was a corruption going on with that resort that was, being built. So how much longer can this go on, man? This is the information age where, these things are being, broadcast and put on blast in real time. And people is crashing out versus just letting these things happen. All right. So, matter of fact, Second Ezra 9, and let me see. Second Ezra 9, in 1, it says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Okay, so the Most High is visiting this place, and he's doing that by way of these, earthquakes, uproars of the people. You got, plagues and pestilence, disease, war, and ultimately the missiles. All right. It says, therefore, verse 3, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High, spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. All right, so the things taking place on the earth clearly indicate that this is the end. All right. Even so, the times also the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed shall be preserved from the said perils, because that's what's coming, nothing but perilous times. All right. And shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. All right. So we want to be delivered from, this evil that's about to hit, which is why we continue to do what we do. All right. We don't put our hand to the plow and then turn away from serving the Lord like Genesis, like Sakari, Alazar, Hakah, Hassad. All right, those misfits. All right, we don't put our hand to the plow and look back. Okay, which just shows that those dudes was never right. Verse 9, then shall they be in pitiful case which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. Okay, so there's more to that, but the point being that the effects and the signs um indicate that we are in the end. Okay, so we've measured the time diligently, and we see that this is the very time in which the Most High is visiting this planet. All right. So let me read this here in Deuteronomy 19 and verse 14 in the NLT. It says, when you arrive in the land the Lord Yahweh your power is giving you as your special possession, you must never steal anyone's land by removing the boundary markers your ancestors set up to mark their property. Okay? So you ain't supposed to to move the goalpost, so to say. Okay? You ain't supposed to, you hear it as you received uh, a portion of land as well as your neighbor, but in the middle of the night, you and your sons go out and move their marker closer, to their house, so to say, which makes your boundary bigger. You ain't supposed to do that. All right. Now, that's amongst even your own people. You ain't supposed to do that. All right. Now you got these Albanians that's over there in Albania, right? Been there for however long. All right, which a lot of those is Northern Kingdom. Those people in Albania, Southern Kingdom as well. A lot of those Albanians is Israelites. All right, uh, and as well as a lot of them being straight up Edomites, heathens. What either way, these people been there for a long time, and you got two demons. All right, two small hats. Uh, Donald Trump's daughter and Jared Kushner that just gonna come and say we discovered this and yeah we're gonna take this, we're gonna take all this beachfront, which a lot of it is wildlife reserve. We're gonna tear it down and build what the hell we want to build on. Like, man, that's demonic, man. Okay, which is why everybody hates these small hats. Everybody hates the small hats because they're a covetous people. Look what they're doing in Gaza. All right, Trump Gaza. Remember that? All right, look what they're doing to Lebanon. All right, the Greater Israel Project. Okay, so the actions that these elites are taking is further solidifying the hatred that everybody has for them. All right, which is going to lead to war because that's the only thing that's going to stop these demons from doing what they do is war, which Russia knows that. All right, so I just want to edify on that. Lord willing, that was edifying. Till next time I say shalom.